And welcome back, folks. It's Man Sharpens Man. This is number 4. This is your host, LJ. And we are back, baby. I'm flying solo again, but not for long. Not for long. Coming up, we got a special treat for you guys. I got a bunch of my comic friends to agree. My new comic friends. I like saying that. But I got a bunch of my comic friends to agree. I'm going to do a little comic interview series where I pull on some of this local talent from around here and some of the people I've met in the little comedy gig and interview them and try my little hand at interviewing and see how it sounds. And we'll have a little series where I interview some of the local comics. So look forward to that coming up in probably the next episode. We're trying to get shit together, but a lot of these guys are busy. They got bands, they got other things, they're comics, they got real lives, they got jobs. And I'm sure they got other interesting shit besides just being convicts. What in the fuck, just being convict? Just being comics, I meant. Comics, not convicts. Holy shit. Well, welcome back. It's number 24, like I said, Man Sharpens Man, and this is your host, LJ. And what do we have going on in the news now? You guys want to talk about the news? What you want to talk about? Let's look at my little paper here. Did I write something? Oh, I had a wonderful fucking visitor pop by. You guys want to hear some crazy shit? Just like a blast from my past. It's shoestring relation type dude. He's more related to like my mom and dad, or he's like their old friend or something. I don't really know what the motherfucker is. But anyhow, he pops in on my mom to say hi from years and years ago. I don't really know this dude. Turns out he's an old prison guard. So they come over here and we're hanging out. Me and him are kicking it. Oh my God, we had some pretty good kick-its, man. It was like the sheepdog and the fucking wolf on them old Looney Tunes commercial where it's like, hey, Ralph, hey, George, punching in and, time to eat some sheep, time to keep your ass from eating some sheep. It was that kind of thing. He's retired now because of some injuries he got because the inmate hurt him, but, pretty crazy being able to sit down and just kind of kick it with the guy. I mean, it's not like I hold any kind of grudges against just prison guards in general or some shit. I'm not some kind of crazy dude like that, but it was just fun just sitting down and kicking it with him. And just like getting a feel for the other side of the fence a little bit, because that's one thing. I had prison guards that were friends with them in there to some degree, but they didn't ever over-personalize, and we didn't really kick it on no deep level. Me and this guy sat down, and we probably had a good 2-3 hour chat. I really wish I would have recorded. I think I want to get hold of him, maybe do something in the future where me and him just do a little fucking two sides of the fence interview or something, because we had some good talks, because he used to be the guy trying to stop shit from happening, and I used to be the motherfucker making shit happen. So we were never at the same prison or anything like that, but all the same, very, very fucking interesting conversation. We'll have to bring that to you, but like I said, it's number 24, Man Sharpens Man. It is spring out there, and it is beautiful. It is freaking beautiful. Fucking love it. Michigan spring comes late, but when it finally gets here, it is fucking nice. It is nice. So this spring is, boy, the lights are flashing. I hope I can make it through this show. Just got cut off a little while ago. I had started the first take, and I didn't make it into it worth a shit. It was okay. I was talking about the wrong shit anyhow. But anyhow, I made a little ways into it, and the fucking power cut off. Probably was destiny. Guy was like, what's that lame shit you're trying to spit? And just fucking cut me down. He cut me right off. But now we're back, but it's windy out there. It looks like we got some weather blowing in. But you guys didn't tune in to listen to my weather. You don't even know what fucking day it is here. For all you know, I could have recorded this 10 years ago. Nah, I ain't fake like that. Y'all know I ain't fake like that. What is today? Today is the 27th. You know what tomorrow is? Tomorrow, I know I'm not going to be coherent enough to record a show, and that's why I'm recording a show today. Because today's show is kind of a special show, because tomorrow is my anniversary of getting out of prison after that long 10-year stint I did. April 28th in 2004 was when they finally released me, and I haven't looked back since. Well, I went back and visited a couple of times, but you know what I mean. I haven't looked back since. I've been trying to get right the whole time. I'm getting righter every day. Mr. Can't Get Right himself is getting righter every day. But no, my prison anniversary is coming up, so I thought that is a great reason to sit down and record a show. Like I said, I got some comics coming up. I'm going to be doing some comic interviews with a bunch of my comic pals, but this is a good one for me to do by myself. It's my getting out special. Maybe I'll tell you guys a little bit about right before I got out. I'll think of some kind of story before the end. Let's see, what do we want to talk about, though? I wrote a couple things down, and oh shit, in local news, don't get me wrong, hookers should not get hit. But a local fucking strip club owner is doing 25 to life. He just got sentenced 25 to life for hitting a hooker. Hitting a hooker, you should not hit a hooker, but you assume a job risk when you become a hooker. If you worked in the oil fields or something and a pipe blew and hurt you, I'd say, well, it sucks. It's tragic you got hurt, but you work in the pipe. You know, it's oil field. It's some dangerous shit, man. It's dangerous shit out there in the oil rigs. But I mean, if you're a hooker and you get hit by a pimp, it's not a hooker, a stripper. Not, all hookers are strippers, but not all strippers are hookers. It's like the rectangle square thing. It goes, but whatever. The stripper, her boss hit her, choked her, or get a little bit or something. But the reason he got 25 to life, that's what I want to focus on. Not whether or not he did it, because he probably did. That shit happens all the time. They probably toot coke off each other's fucking genitals and shit, and probably have way more of a relationship than they should for a boss and a woman, all that kind of crap. There's all kinds of shit, all kinds of dynamics we're probably unaware of. But the one thing I am aware of is the fact he got 25 to life, and the reason why is because he was found guilty at a trial. He went to trial. He took this shit to a jury trial because he was claiming he didn't do whatever they're saying. So maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I mean, I've been in the same fucking situation, and I definitely didn't. So I know what the shit is like. But the bottom line is he exercised his right to a trial, and I guarantee you, whatever plea bargain they were offering him was way less than 25 fucking years. It's probably some little 5-year, 2-year thing or something, just something he didn't want to do, or something he didn't think he did it, or he didn't think he did as much as they were charging him for. Who knows where the line is on that? I don't know. They think they do, though. The state thinks they do when they take people's lives and they lock motherfuckers up. But I can testify. Motherfuckers can say I'm full of shit, but there's plenty of people that's up in there for absolutely nothing, because I was one of them. And if you don't believe it, I don't care. Then you can like me for that reason, because I'm such a crazy liar. But seriously, I was up in there for some bullshit, so I know the shit happens. And not only was I in there for some bullshit, I had the same type of thing where they offered me a 1-year plea bargain, people. Let's get, I had a visitor that was a prison guard, so I'm kind of like talking about prison a lot right now. So it's going to be a pretty prison-heavy episode. But anyhow, when I was first going through this shit and they first arrested me for this bullshit, they offered me a 1-year plea bargain. My lawyer come to me and he said, hey, they got a 1-year plea bargain for you, dude. You better take it, man. They got you're not going to beat this. And I said, why not? I didn't do it. I didn't do it, dog. Well, number one, your lawyer, he don't believe you. This motherfucker used to work as a prosecutor or something. He's just in a different phase of the same old shit. They're all on the same team pretty much. So he's telling me, take this plea bargain, man. Take it. They just convict people. This is how the system works. You get arrested for something like this, you did it, you take the plea bargain. It's like, dude, I didn't fucking do it. I don't want to take the plea bargain. So his non-confidence in me drives me to another lawyer, which doesn't do any fucking good, but at least he's willing to listen to me and pretend like he cares for some money. But long story short, they offer me 1-year plea bargain. 1 year. And they even specify it'll be in county jail. 1 year in county jail plea bargain. So I don't want that shit. I go to my trial. Do my trial, get found guilty by a jury of shitheads, and then they give me 11 to 20. 11 to 20. What the fuck? That is a lot more than 1 year. And the jury isn't even allowed to know that you're taking that gamble. That seemed like they'd be allowed to weigh that shit in. I mean, you're willing. I mean, my lawyer told me, he's like, if you get found guilty, motherfucker, it ain't gonna be 1 year. They're gonna hit you up because they don't like this shit. They don't like you going to trial. And how can they not like you exercising your rights? If nothing else, it keeps the fucking court right. I mean, your muscles you try to use a muscle and it'll just fucking rip if you sit around and don't use it for all the time. So, I mean, if nothing else, they should be grateful you're making sure the courts work or something, giving some people a goddamn job. But no, you get way more fucking time in 11 years. Isn't that a fucking weird sentence? I've always laughed about that. People would ask me, how much time you get? And I'm like, 11 years. And they're like, what in the fuck is 11 years? And it's like, yeah, I know, fuck me up too. When the judge said it, I'm a math whiz. Let me brag a little bit. I don't usually brag myself up, but let me brag myself up. I'm fucking good at math. In high school, I was taking trig and calculus and shit and honors stuff. I really like math. I thought, I was stonecutter type theory before I even knew about it. It's I always thought math was the language of God because that shit just makes more sense than even talking does. Anyhow, I was good at math back in the day before I kind of gave up on it. I'm still good at math, whatever, fuck it. You know what I'm just saying? I used to be super fucking good at math. I'm in court. The judge comes back to sentence me. I'm standing there and he says, Mr. Hall, I sentence you to 132 to 240 months. And no matter how fucking good at math you are, I don't give a shit. When you get kicked in the nuts with something like that, you cannot do the math. I'm sitting there 100, a fucking 100. I don't care if it's 100 of any fucking thing. That's a lot. And then 132. I can't even do this math. I know he said months. I'm trying to figure it out. You're doing the math probably. You already know it's 11. I said it earlier, but I'm just saying I can't do that shit in my head. I'm like, what is this? Did he just sentence me to my whole life? What the fuck is this? I mean, seriously, people, I'd only been fucking alive. I was 17. So I'd been alive for what? Like, almost the same amount of time. He sentenced me to 11 years. I'd been alive for 17. Holy shit. That's almost as long as I can remember. You know, you don't even remember back past being 5 or something. So my recorded memory was as much as I got sentenced to, and it was like, God damn. But seriously, I didn't even know it was 11 years till I got back to my cell. I never worked a math problem more different ways. I worked that motherfucker out. I wrote 12 out 11 different times and added it up. I did the multiplication. I reversed and did division. I did that shit so many fucking times I wore a piece of paper out. But it just kept coming up to 11 motherfucking years. All because I took my trial. So I'm not telling people to settle out. I'm just saying, man, if you get a plea bargain, man, it's a fucking poof. It's one of them goddamn things. You want to sacrifice your life to take a chance? You want to prove your point? I don't care if you're guilty or not. I'm just saying, you're taking a chance. But I think it's set up like that in a weird way. If you really think about it, why is it set up like that? Is it to punish you because you went to trial? Is it really? No. It's not to punish you because you went to trial. It's not to punish you for shit. It's because they know you're a fucking real one. Whether you're guilty or innocent, if you're willing to go to trial, it means you're a fucking real one, and they're trying to get your ass off the streets for as long as they can because they don't want to fuck with as many real ones as possible. Because when you go to trial, it's saying, you know, you're strapping your nuts on. No matter if it's a fucking parking ticket, you go to trial and you get found guilty, they're gonna slam you harder, and they don't like that shit because they know they're dealing with a real one that's not wet and that's not just ready to put up with their old bullshit at on call. This is what you get. You know, I mean, that's not how shit's supposed to work, people. It's not how the system's supposed to work. Our system is fucking broken, and not many people get locked up that can come out and say, hey, look at this. Most people come out and go back, come out and go back. I mean, God knows I've fucking danced with it, so it's just the way the fucking thing is. But if you really think about it, it needs to be changed. It seems uncomfortable to even think about, but the minute you get snatched up in it, you're like, God damn, I wish I'd have listened. But hopefully none of you motherfuckers get snatched up in it because you're listening to my good convictly advice and I keep you out of trouble because no one wants to get caught with no weed. No one wants to get, but none of my listeners, don't be doing real crimes. Don't break in your motherfucking garages. Don't be doing that kind of shit. But police listeners, quit arresting people for weed and stuff. Just let people go, man. And all this heroin and opioid shit, that shit needs to go away. I don't know the answer to that one, but I don't think it's jail because jail is a motherfucker. But we ain't going to get lost into too much shit. We're getting all deep here today. Let's get back onto some funny shit. Who knows what's going on? Oh, like I said, I got some comedic interviews coming up. Really fucking looking forward to that. I'm not going to spout no names because who knows who's going to go first. These guys are all so goddamn busy. You never know who's going to be first. You just never know. Man, I tell you what, prison is running through my mind because, like I said, it's like an uncle-y type dude, or I don't even know what you call him. He's a shoestring relative of my family. He stopped to visit my mom just on the whim, and she brought him over here, and we sat and kicked it the whole day, but he used to be a prison guard. So I used to be a convict for most of my life. This guy used to be a prison guard for his whole life. So we're sitting kicking stories back and forth, and I wish I'd had this shit set up. It would have made a great fucking show. But we're going to get this guy. We're going to get him back, man. I'm going to have this guy on the show one of these days. He's from Nebraska or something, so we may have to do a call-in or something. But sitting and kicking with this prison guard was kind of cool because we definitely... it's like the sheepdog and the wolf thing off the old like Looney Tunes cartoons where it's like, hey Ralph, hey George, and they used to punch the clock and they knew they were supposed to be enemies, but it was cordial because they was working. And it wasn't quite that because I'm not a convict anymore and he's not a guard anymore. But at the same time, I used to be pretty ruthless on them guards. I can remember back in Carson City, I used to climb up. There was a little dividing wall in the middle of the it was a pole barn. It was a fucking pole barn prison. Horrible. And I could climb up the dividing wall and chuck batteries at the guards while they were taking. You guys think I'm rotten as hell, but what the fuck, man? It's the situation. But I'd climb up the fucking thing and chuck batteries at the guards, and I could drop down like a motherfucking commando on the other side before they could tell who was whipping batteries at them. I had them guards used to walk with a clipboard next to their head, scared as shit I might wing them. I wasn't aiming for their head. I was just fucking with them, but me and him, we was just having stories back and forth, and I'm talking about some shit like that here and there and telling him little stories about winging batteries at cops. And my homeboy had a colostomy bag one time, and he put some poop on their fucking guard phone and hid it where they wouldn't know, and they God damn, they ended up throwing that phone away. They couldn't figure out why it stunk. It was one of them old, it seriously was one of them old looking motherfucking, like a rotary phone, but it was push button, but it had you could unscrew the caps like my younger listeners have no idea what I'm talking about right now, but you could unscrew the caps off the phone because it was one of them, like, big handheld units, and you could unscrew the little speaker cap. Well, my homeboy with a colostomy bag, he snuck over there by the podium when they was breaking up a fight. He popped that bitch open and got his colostomy bag and ducked a little piece of paper in there and rubs some of that shit inside the part where your mouth where you would talk, and he screwed it back closed. Man, them guards were using that phone for probably about a week, complaining. We hear them complaining. I was telling this motherfucker about stuff like that, man. I was having so much fun just reminiscing like that. But then he's sitting here with one leg. Like, I'm not going to ask him why he's got one leg. He's got one leg because of fucking inmate being an asshole, And it's like I'm not telling him stories about taking a dude's leg or no shit, But at the same time, kind of got me where I'm like, whoa. But he didn't care. He was a good sport, man. We had some good kickets, man. Like I said, we're going to have this guy on the show. But some inmate had squirted some, I've tried the similar type shit, but an inmate squirted some lotion and some soap and shit. You mix it up at the right viscosity and you can make some slippery shit. But he squirted it out the door right in front of him, and he was trying to get another dude and ended up getting him. It's hard to see out your cell, so who knows who you're shooting at. And it's like, man, just hearing that, it felt so bad for the guy. He got a really bad break, and then, things went south and blah, 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 and he ended up losing the leg. But he's a good sport, and he's doing okay in life, and he got a pension, so fuck it, he's living good. Yeah, he's living like a fucking... not an NBA player or nothing, but he's living a good life. He's got enough money to travel around, have some fun. He seems like a great guy. So we had fucking real good time. We had some old history where we know each other. I'm not going to tell you guys our family lineage and some boring shit. But anyhow, we had a good kick. It's as fucking the old convict and the guard story goes. And like I said, I'm going to definitely have to do a show with this guy on it real soon. But yeah, he told me, I got to tell you guys this too. So he's telling me about this. He says this guy squirted the shit and he slipped and broke his leg, blah, blah, blah. So anyhow, he tells me this and I'm like, holy shit, I have to tell him. I was in the hole one time. Now, people, they put me in the hole because I got stabbed. So if this story sounds fucked up, understand I had serious fucking attitude going. So put that in, take that grain of salt with this story so you're not like, Jesus Christ, man, what the fuck is wrong with you? Because this is a little gross. But anyhow, I'm in the hole. Deputy Kason is his name. I'm pretty sure he was old enough. He's probably dead by now, so I can say his name. Doesn't matter anyhow. Fuck him. Wouldn't let me out of the hole. Kept going to see SCC. That's the Security Classification Committee, if you didn't know what it was. I keep going to see him. They keep laying me down, won't let me out of the hole because I was getting in lots of fights. I wasn't starting the fights. I was a fucking 100-pound, 18-year-old kid that motherfuckers kept testing. They was trying to suck my dick, all that shit. So I was getting into fights, but they were fights that needed to be got into. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I wasn't even in the hole for fighting, per se. I was in the hole because the guy jumped me and stabbed me. But they weren't letting me out because they considered me, like, whatever. Some bullshit. So, anyhow, every month I got to go see this guy, Kason. I got to see him. Go see him. This motherfucker, he won't let me out of the hole. They call it lay down. You got a 30-day lay down. So he keeps giving me these little 30-day passovers. So I'm just in the hole, just like on some hostage shit for nothing. I'm not even like in trouble, but I can't go out, and there ain't shit to do in the hole. I mean, it's the worst fucking place on earth. It's the opposite of Disney World. Anyhow, I'm sitting up in the hole, and I've been up in this motherfucker for 9 months now. I'm losing my mind. Like, I am throwing food under my bed to draw flies in and hunting them with a little piece of fucking rubber band that I made out of some underwear strap. And I mean, I'm insane. I'm so tired of being in there. I've been in here forever. It's summer. I'm hot. I'm just over it. Getting out of the hole in prison is literally like getting out of prison. It's like you walk into the yard like, oh my God, I loved it. Kiss the prison yard, I wouldn't do that. You get syphilis. But anyhow, I hear him coming down the hall. And I'm like, oh, this motherfucker. I got him. And now I already got this shit prepped from the earlier because I'm not supposed to see SCC today, but I know he's coming because he comes every 2 weeks. So I've taken my empty toothpaste tube, I squeezed the last little bit out, and I inflated it. And then I poured my piss in it and filled it up with piss. And that's the part I was saying, don't judge me. I know it sounds fucking gross, but goddamn, I'm in the hole, losing my fucking mind, blah, blah, blah. Just picture the state of mind, okay? Filling up a toothpaste tube with piss. You never see yourself doing it until you find yourself doing it one day. Anyhow, I'm filling up this fucking toothpaste tube of piss, and I got it all filled, and it's cocked and loaded, and there's a little round hole in the door where you could put your cigarette out and get a light, because they were such saints that they would let us have cigarettes in the hole, but we couldn't have matches, no kinds of dangerous shit, so they'd give us a light for the cigarette, So anyhow, that little hole in the door. I got the fucking toothpaste tube, and I'm staring through the hole, and I got both hands on it when I see his ass come jigga-jiving down the hall, because he was like Bill Cosby. Probably in the rapey way, too. I don't know. But he acted and walked, and he was like a fucking pudding commercial all the time going on. Anyhow, this motherfucker's coming down the hallway, and I'm ready I'm cocked and loaded. I'm going to spray him with his piss. I'm so tired of being in the hole. I'm taking it to the next level. Like, I don't even know what the fuck I was thinking. Long story short, I don't hear him anymore. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I hear some guards walking with their keys. So I hurry, and I toss the piss over in the corner, because I don't want them to see me standing there with it. And they say, "Hey, Hall." And I'm like, "Yeah." And they said, "Hey, SCC wants to see you." And I'm like, "Whoa." So, I back up to the door and do the fucking Hannibal Lecter fucking shit and get all shackled up. And they pop the door open, and I do the fucking 100-yard shuffle down to the day room. And fucking get down there, and they got the fucking little jungle court set up, and Kason sitting there ruling over. And it's like, what do you want to see me early for, dog? And I cannot believe that he's made it down the hall, because he used to walk down the rock all the time, talking shit. Everyone's trying to get his attention. He's like a fucking rock star. Everyone, let me out the hole, let me out the hole. Anyhow, I'm like, why am I here? I wasn't supposed to see you till the end of the month. He says, well, we're gonna let you out now. You've been in here long enough. Some of the threats have been transferred. Blah blah blah. You're not a threat. We don't feel like your enemies are here, so we're just gonna let you back out into this prison. Because I thought they were gonna transfer me, so they just put me out into this prison again. Long story short, but the point of the story is, I was trying to squirt this guy with piss. Thank God I didn't, because I'm sure I'd have got another case. I probably wouldn't be sitting here right now. They probably gave me the worst case in the world, but it just was my state of mind. I was losing my fucking mind in the hole. So when he told me about that guy squirting that shampoo to make someone slip, I had to tell him, I said, I'm going to tell you a gross story about, but it's a state of mind you're in. You go through different phases in your life, and if you find yourself living in a fucking place called the hole, that state of life might be a fucking weird place for a little minute. It definitely was for me. I could tell you guys, we could do the whole chronicle. That's another thing. On top of doing the little comic interviews that I got coming up, as many of them guys as I can, I'm going to put it together, and we're going to do a little, it'll be one of them double name things, Man Sharpens Man comic special or something. I'll come up with something clever, or maybe I won't. Maybe someone else will. Who knows? But whatever, we'll have the comic interviews, but we're also going to do, I got a bunch of reached out to some of my homeboys from the joint. Some of the free ones, because some of the incarcerated ones, they can't do shit. You know what? I'm going to shoot a couple of them guys a letter, actually, because they can do shit. I'm going to shoot a couple of my homeboys in the joint some letters, too, and maybe I'll just tell them, hey, why don't you write a little old story about the good old days when we used to be burying shanks and smoking weed on the yard or whatever, and tell these motherfuckers about, how we used to live up in there. Because we lived in like a Hogan's Heroes kind of way for some of you older folks, and I mean, younger people don't know what that was, but it was just like I don't really even know what it was. It was like a TV show about like some prisoners that like had a bunch of shit they could sneak out and live good or something. I mean, we weren't sneaking out and living good like that, but we definitely had it made for some inmates. Like, we definitely should not have been living as good as we were. So I was never not thankful for life in there. We always had a pretty fucking swell time. There was some crazy shit going on, but hey, what are you gonna do? Motherfuckers out here join the military and they want to see crazy shit. So who knows? Maybe I was lucky. Who would ever thought I'd say that about going to the joint, huh? Well, when you've been out for almost fucking, what is this anniversary tomorrow? 13 years. 13 years now I've been out of prison. I did 10 and I've been out for 13. The biggest anniversary I had was the one where I was out for 10. When I had been out for 10, I was like, that's the one. I was very happy for that one, where the amount of time I had free now was the same amount of time that I had spent in prison. I would really say that, after 10 years of being in prison, about the time these motherfuckers were letting me out, I was so good at being in prison, I'll be honest as fuck, I kind of didn't want to get out. If it wasn't for getting laid, I never would. You want to get laid too, don't you? Yeah, I know you do. But yeah, if it wasn't for wanting to get laid, I wouldn't want to get out of there, basically. It was like, I was good at that shit. After 10 years of being in prison, I was a fucking boss at being in prison. It's hard to explain, but I was very fucking comfortable. In the world, you could be the fucking president of Dubai or something. I mean, there's no limit on how rich or successful you can be, but in prison, there's kind of a cap. So once you get to that cap, you kind of feel comfortable and you kind of sit there and, I'm just saying I was good at being in prison. And then once I had been out of prison for over 10 years, then I felt pretty good, because now I felt like I was starting to be good at being free. And that's kind of what this show is. When I started this show, it was because I'm just now starting to fucking feel comfortable in the world. I spent 10 years not going to bars, not doing shit. I mean, not that the bar is the funnest place in the world. I'm still not going to bars. I'm just using that as like a general broad example. I go to bars now and do comedy, but before, 10 years before, I would not have done that. 8 years ago, 5 years ago, I would not have went to a bar to do comedy. And it isn't because I didn't have that urge, because I've wanted to do comedy. Doing stand-up comedy is something I did pretty much every fucking day, all day long in prison. Like, I was running some kind of bit, some kind of gag. If we weren't fucking practical joking, I definitely wasn't being fucking serious. I was not the guy to sit and talk about your fucking case or your kids or your ex-wife sucking someone's dick or something. I don't care about your sport coat situation. I didn't give a shit about none of that. Don't bring up the world, none of that shit. I was the guy that was just in there fucking clowning. So I knew that, like, that was my spot. I love to make people just kind of forget about that bullshit and laugh. And I mean, if I'm doing it for free for a bunch of fucking convicts, I knew that when I got out, I wanted to do it. But like I said, going to the fucking bars, trying to be out in public, that shit just didn't sit with me. I mean, I didn't want to admit that I was, a little PTSD-ing and antisocial and shit. And that's what, time does. It took a while for me to figure that shit out. And like, I know I've told the story on the show before, and I ain't going to tell it again, but the guy told me in there, he said it takes basically the amount of time that you're in prison for, you can pretty much guarantee that when you get out, you're going to need to spend at least that much time or more, maybe double, maybe triple, who fucking knows, but you're going to take some time before you get used to being in the world, because it's just not like you just jump out and just be like, oh, back into the shit. You jump out and for some reason all of a sudden you feel more comfortable just sitting in the fucking bathroom because it's a nice little area and ain't nobody going to fuck with you, and just little weird shit like that. Like, it definitely takes a while, but I'm glad that I'm out. I'm glad I'm doing this fucking show. This show is big for me, and I'm glad for everyone that listens. Thank you, motherfuckers. Thank you. Give me some feedback. Any comments, thumbs up, all that kind of crap. I'm getting better at posting this thing. I'm getting better. I'm doing all ends of this shit. I mean, I'm writing it. Well, hey, writing it is a pretty fucking strong word, but whatever. I'm putting the show together. I'm the one that's acting it out or talking it out or whatever you call this thing I'm doing right now. I'm getting to host or DJ, be the radio guy like I always wanted to be a little bit, do my comedy thing on here. But then I also got to produce it and promote it and all that crap, and I'm not good at that shit. I'm not making this shit up. When you guys are hearing this is the real. I was a motherfucking convict for most of my life. I got out. Like, the internet was already big, computers was already big. When I first got out, my mom set me up. She says, hey, I got you this. I got you a Hotmail account, is what she tells me. I said, look, Mom, I'm not, I can find my own pussy. I don't need to be on this Hotmail. I thought it was like M-A-L-E, like these Hotmails looking. I said, no, I can't even believe you. My own mom was signing me up for my fucking Hotmail. She says, no, it's an email account. I didn't even know what that shit was. Fucking email. I didn't have that shit. I did a huge amount of, they didn't have no email before I went in there. All this shit, Hotmail and crap, I did not know what that was. So I'm just now getting decent at this shit. And I'm the producer, I'm the everything on this. So once in a while I'm a little late. Sometimes it's a little bit in between episodes. But I thank you guys for listening all the time. It's fucking huge to me. Definitely appreciate it. Like I say, I got some comics coming up. We're going to be doing some interviews. I also got some of my old homeboys from the joint and talking it out on the show. I'm going to get some letters from the joint. We're going to see how that works, and maybe I'll read a little bit of them, because I still write to them guys. So I'm going to sit down and shoot a letter to a couple of the more colorful motherfuckers I know and tell them, hey, put together a little something. Put together a letter for me to read on this thing. Don't make it some big long thing trying to get some girl to write you or something stupid, motherfucker. That'll be cool, though. These guys are cool dudes. So I'm going to get some letters. We got some interviews coming up. We're going to kind of change this show. Like I said, it's Man Sharpens Man. I told you in the beginning, this show it's going to change because I'm sharpening it up as I'm doing this show. I've started doing stand-up. This year on Man Sharpens Man, and when I say year, for me, my year starts in the spring. You can say January 1st, whatever, I don't care. I don't follow that shit. I'm just me. So, this year starting right now, this is my year. It's nice outside. Man Sharpens Man is going to be a lot better of a show. I'm going to take you guys with me on a few things that I'm going to do. I'm gonna start hitting the gym way more. We're gonna get into some of that health and stuff, because I do know a lot about that. I spent my whole time in prison lifting weights and playing sports and getting good at that shit. And since I've been out, to be honest, I've been pretty fucking lazy, and I've let that shit kind of slide. So over the next year, we're gonna fucking really hit it hard. We're gonna be doing some fucking comedy. We're going to be doing the fucking fitness thing. We're going to talk a little bit more about fitness and getting into shape, because that's one thing. If you guys want to be happy, seriously, being in shape and being half-ass healthy for whatever you can be. For your level. Be healthy for your level, and don't judge yourself by other people's fucking standards. Don't go to the gym or don't go to the fucking park or wherever you want to go to get a little blow at or a little workout at. Don't go there and fucking look around for the fucking cute little girl running and think, ah, damn, my boobies hang. Or don't look for the big buff guy that doing fucking some kind of fucking Martian pull-up on the fucking angle and shit. Just fucking focus on your own self. And if you can fucking walk 30 steps, do it, and then tomorrow walk 31, because that shit is important. So I'm not going to get off into it because I see we're already up to a half hour today, so we ain't going to do no fitness stuff today, but that is going to be part of the show, because like I said, it's man sharpens man, or, man sharpens woman, woman sharpens man, whatever. It's people sharpen people. This show's about just being better at fucking life in general, and it's about me being better in life, about y'all being better in life, and it's about us having fun. So I'm glad you guys tune in. We're going to keep the funny coming. Don't worry, we're not going to just start being fucking Men's Health or some stupid shit. I can't even help myself. Of course I'm going to fucking crack jokes. Oh, I almost forgot. Remember we were doing the old joke of the week? We're going to bring that back too. I'm going to finish this episode with the old joke of the week. I thought of an old joke this morning. It's funny as shit. And as soon as I thought of it, I was like, man, I cannot believe I forgot to put the old joke of the week in so many episodes of Man Sharpens Man. So we're bringing it back, and it's going to stay here forever. If you guys got a joke you want to hear, write it into me. I'll tell it. I can't come up with old jokes all the time. So here's one for you. This is a great one. There's a fucking virgin having trouble getting laid. He goes, finds a hooker. He says, fuck, I'm just going to go get a hooker. I can't get laid. I'm going to get a hooker. So he gets himself a hooker, and he tells her, he says, hey, I don't really want to have sex with you this time. He says, can we do something besides sex? And she's like, well, I could suck your dick. And he's like, yeah, that's cool, but is there something we could do where like you'll kind of enjoy it too? Because I'm scared to have sex with you, but I don't want to be the only one that's enjoying it. And she's like, well, we'll do a thing called 69. And he says, okay, I don't know what that is, but I'm down for it. So she gets him, and he lays on his back, and she flips around and straddles his face, and she starts sucking his dick, and he's eating her pussy, and she kind of slips a little fart out, and he stops eating her pussy for a minute. He kind of lets it air out, and he just goes right back at her. He's a trooper. So he goes in there, and all of a sudden, another little one slips out. She's a little loose back there. Another little fart slips out. Oh, he pulls back away. He says, God. He taps her on the butt. He says, ma'am, stop. He says, I cannot take 67 more of those. So there's your old corny joke for the week from Man Sharpens Man. Like I said, I'm bringing the old joke back. But anyhow, this is Man Sharpens Man. If you guys want, I got to do my plugs. May 2nd at the Distillery in downtown Traverse City. I'll be doing the motherfucking stand-up. Come on down there. See me. Come on, people. Let's get this place started. This is a new mic. It's in Traverse City. If you're listening to this, get your asses down there. It's May 2nd at the Distillery at 7:30. We're going to fucking light it up. It's Kamikaze Open Mic. It's my boy Matt Zerilli hosts it, and I have been in every one so far, and we're going to see if I can not miss one. Unless I got some out-of-town shit come up or something. And then also May 1st, which is this coming Monday, which is just a couple days away, I'm going to Grand Rapids to do 3-4 different mics. Don't know the names of all of them, but they're all at different little comedy clubs. So if you're in the Grand Rapids area, if I can go to a comedy club, you'll probably see me. So anyhow, this is LJ. This has been Man Sharpens Man. Thank you guys for listening. Peace, pot, and microdot.